Well, I've just watched another really interesting video on the Illuminati by an ex-member, and my God, it was illuminating. I have mentioned that my mother's family were a long line of Freemasons. My mother's father's family were also from a long line of Freemasons, claiming to trace their ancestry back to the Norman Conquest. And in fact, I was in touch with a man called Christopher Noyes Dickman, who's apparently a third cousin of mine, and he claims the Godson and Noyes lines go back to the Norman Conquest. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, and I'm not sure why he would care about the Godson side, but he knew an awful lot about them. He, after all, is a Noyes descendant, not a Godson descendant. On his mother's side, which I didn't think counted too much in the family tree, but there we go. I found out a lot about the man later, and I never should have trusted him. Anyway, how much separation is there between Freemasons and Illuminati? I'm beginning to think very little, if any. There was a little bit there about arranged marriages, and another of those click-click moments. While I can still find no record that my mother and father ever married each other until 1978, just a bit on the late side, as they were grandparents by then, an arranged marriage is, I've been thinking about something along those lines for a long time. That my mother was very deliberately introduced to my father, and vice versa. I think perhaps what was not counted on by the people who performed the introduction was that my father did not come from a Masonic family. Paedophilic, yes, as far as I can tell from the evidence. Not Freemasons. And although the Nazi philosophy, i.e. to control the entire world, is very similar to that of the Illuminati, I think perhaps the Illuminati, gosh, the most powerful group in the world. I was interested in the line about the mafia being afraid of them. I believe it. I think just the same, they misunderstood the Nazi philosophy, the German Nazi philosophy, and misunderstood what my father had learned while he was in first Vandervogel and then Hitler Youth. Somewhere along the line, something that should have gelled perfectly did not. Possibly when my father raped my mother when she was drunk, for a start. After that, it seems to me she spent a good long time trying to escape him. And he followed her. None of this coincidental postings to this place, that place, and the other place. He was following her. He was stalking her. I have said that on another video. I wonder when my mother's family members, and hey, she was female and she was an orphan, so she didn't count for much. I wonder when her family members discovered that all had not gone quite according to plan. That the marriage, if there ever was one, hadn't taken because the Nazi was already married. For a start. And the other little snag being that at that time my mother was quite a spirited sort, and objected to having been raped. I don't think she wanted to know, but I'm certain that she didn't actually. I have to continue speculating as to what happened from there. But it has to have been fixed somehow. Because this is one thing I'm absolutely certain of. It was that my mother did not want to be with my father. And that any love she acquired for him was Stockholm Syndrome. And yet, what had happened also was that the Nazi, who was not from a Masonic line, who was in fact Lancashire working class before being sent to Germany, and then on to the Eden of the East, the Bishop Cotton School. The Nazi was actually sucked into, okay, let's say, the Illuminati. Very, very useful, was he not? He knew about programming techniques. He knew how to do all that they wanted done. Also, he was a highly intelligent man. He was a whiz at maths and science, for a start. And he was blonde and blue-eyed. I'm still thinking about the Aryan race here. I don't know how much. I was a little unclear as to whether the Illuminati are supposedly all white, because I don't think they are. In fact, I doubt very much that they all are. So my father didn't know the rules, and they didn't know his rules. It was, in other words, even on their part, an F-up. I do wonder if this was why my mother avoided all her cousins. Not because she was living in sin, but because she couldn't stand the sight of any of them, including Matt Godson, whom she never informed she had a daughter. I wonder what a prior relationship with that male cousin had been. Now, thinking about it, I'd already been a little bit dubious about Matt Godson, believe it or not, just because of where he lived. Across the water from Thomas Montgomery, when Thomas Montgomery was in Island McGee. It was but a short ferry trip to southern Scotland. Was it Larne to Troon? Just a little ferry trip, and then you're in Scotland. And Matt Godson lived not all that far from there. And I've been thinking about ferries and coastlines and islands for a very, very long time. Perhaps for another video, but I think I've said some of it already. And then there was the bit about the child being deprived of water. To teach her not to understand her own bodily feelings, and only allowed water when she stopped asking for it. Which did again remind me of my arsenic poisoning and the fact that I could not drink water while I had it. Just sips enough to keep me alive. That went on for a fortnight. And I have also said that I know that is why I reacted so badly when I was locked away from water in a building like the merry fires of hell in its temperatures. there was an awful lot more that I wanted to pick up on there. Unfortunately, I lost concentration towards the end. Here it is, Easter, that I'm always afraid of, and already 2 lots of bad news, although it's only blooming a Saturday. I will pick up again. I want to listen to that video again, and this time take notes and say yes, yes, yes. Now I understand that. No, hang on, another thing has just come to mind. She was punished by separation from her children and her family. So was I. I hadn't done any telling, as it were, since 1988, so not quite sure why the punishment would have picked up again in 1993, but it did. I'm thinking again about the murder of my mother as well, as I had said to my husband that that would drive me back to drink if my mother died. It didn't, but I think that told anyone that that would be a very severe punishment for me. No, didn't do her a lot of good either. In 1993, what I have not made clear, because I still feel a certain shame about it, is that my family, by then consisting only of my father, my ex-husband, and my older daughter, was allowed contact with my younger daughter, from which I was excluded. Mother is not allowed to come under any circumstances. That didn't seem to fit really the bill, which was supposedly to make the foster mother feel a little more secure, which was admitted to in court. That a lot of the proceedings had been about making her feel more secure. She'd never wanted to adopt, so the whole adoption angle was scotched immediately. Nobody wanted it. Father, ex-husband, and daughter contacts with my younger daughter, which automatically excised me completely from my family. Not quite completely, and it couldn't have been, because they didn't think my daughter was safe with me. Because I did have a contact also with my daughter. Mother's contact. 8 hours every 6 weeks. We could go anywhere we wanted. Unsupervised, so that was clearly not the concern. Mother was allowed to invite other family members along if she wanted. I was allowed to invite other family members if I wanted. And of course, my older daughter was always invited, but by then she was 18. And romantically involved. And it was also clear to them that my ex-husband would never take it up, or almost never, because he lived in Cornwall and we lived in Southampton, well over 200 miles. And the inevitable consequence was, as I have said, that anyone could, with half an atom of sense, could have seen. The inevitable consequence was that my father wound up with lone contacts with my younger daughter in his flat. Another consequence was that I had to have my ex-husband in my home every Christmas, because we were ordered to have joint Christmases with my younger daughter. I mean, I could have said to him, find a B&B for Christmas, and I wouldn't have been breaking any rules. Because no court actually can order a woman, to give her ex-husband free bed and board for the whole of Christmas. But I did it every year. I wish somebody would tell this to my younger daughter, If she didn't love you, dear, why did she do all this? Why did she comply with all of this shite? Perhaps I might get a chance to tell her. Maybe. Punishment. Excision from family. From 93, pretty much through to now.